welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all doing good and you are excited for today's video. So I just thought I'd do a sit down video explaining to you guys, as you've seen by the title already, how to buy and sell on Depop. Now, just a quick disclaimer, I am not the CEO of Depop. I don't know how everything works, but I have been on there for about 2.5 years now, so I'm quite familiar with how you put things up, how you get more people to see your stuff, etc. And I think this is a really good video to do because I think not many people know how to put their stuff up and then they end up just taking it to charity or giving it to some of their family members. But I just think Depop is really good when you know how to use it properly. Can I just interrupt and say, I look like Penny from Hairspray. If you know who I'm talking about, I'll put a picture up on the screen now. She literally has these two side things hanging down with like this school outfit, and I'm literally like living for it. Like I love her. I think she's stunning. I would also like to say, guys, mental health is real at the moment. I'm struggling a little bit with mental health and physical health at the moment. I'm not really sure like what's going on with me. Maybe it's a little bit of stress, but just thought I'd let you know on here that I'm not all happy and cheery like on every single video that I do put up, but I'm in a good mood today. It's all good, I'm fine. These motivate me to be the best I can be. But anyway, my channel is about positive vibes and making that moolah. So let's get into the Depop tips and tricks. If you guys like the sound of this video and you want to subscribe to me, then please do, and give this video a like and a comment, and remember to subscribe as well. So my experience on Depop over time has led me to create a big list of how to sell and how to buy on Depop. So I'm going to be reading each of the bullet points and just explaining a little bit more of what I thought. I just thought I'd plan it down before I forget. So just mention that I follow Depop Banter on Instagram. I don't know what it's called, Depop Drama I think it's called. I love it. People are so funny, like they ask such random things. Like I'll pop it up on the screen now again for you to have a look. If you are experienced with Depop, you will know that this is so accurate. Firstly, we are going to get into the selling part of Depop now, which I think is the most successful part. Obviously, you can buy on Depop like I've just said, but obviously I use it mostly for selling. Now, being on Depop for 2.5 years, I have made quite a lot of money from it because obviously I have been selling quite often. I've sold 40 items, I think. I'll pop up my account now on the screen if you want to go follow it and see if you want to buy anything from me. So let's say 40 items I've sold times by 15, so let's say about £15. That is £600 I've made in about 2 years, plus the extras. So the first thing I have put to sell is good photography. So I mean like put it in a blank wall or a hanger, so make sure that the item is very visible and you can see it on. In this bullet point, I've also put on the model to show true fit and try and sell branded stuff. Things like basic tees from Primark won't sell as people don't want these as they're old and like manky, let's not lie. Just going into a bit more depth with the good photography, lighting is everything. So if it's a nice sunny day, put your item outside on the grass, make sure the colours are visible when you are taking that photo, because obviously no one wants a white shirt that looks white when you're taking the photo and then get it delivered to them and it's yellow. Do you know what I mean? But in saying that, I'm not saying that you can't sell shirts that are yellow. I know that sounds really disgusting and gross. I don't mean like manky, like I've just said, people won't buy those. But I'm saying if your shirt has a little mark on it or a stain or something, still upload that item, but remember to put it in the description. Also, what I said about the branded stuff, it doesn't need to be like Michael Kors, Ralph Lauren. I'm just saying branded meaning River Island, Topshop, Marks and Spencer's even. I'm just not saying stuff like, what's an example like that people don't really buy anymore? Like a plain t-shirt that's not from anywhere. People won't want to buy it because they're looking for something in particular. When they search up something on Depop, your item will come up. Okay, tip number 2, upload the photo with good quality. So you don't want to be having blurry pictures because then people can't see the real item. And write a good description. Write it a couple of times so when you come up, it comes up when you search. Okay, so taking the photo is self-explanatory. Like I said, use lighting. You can just put it up against the wall, have a nice little backdrop if you want. It doesn't have to be too complicated. I literally use my bed to take the photos. Like stand up maybe so it's a nice angle so you can see the photo in full view. And when you're uploading it, I'll obviously put a picture up on the screen now of how Depop allows you to add 4 photos in. So as the first one I would include to be the most attracting, so let's say it's a pair of joggers, you would want the whole jogger to be in the picture, so maybe on you or on the bed or something. Now when it comes to description, this is the most important part, I think personally, because when you do search something in the Depop search bar up the top, this is where your item will come at the top and the most recent searches. So for example, let's say again, let's use the joggers. So if you label it underneath your thing, if you put white joggers, that will be the only thing that will come up. So I personally think adding it a few times, like, I know it can become a little bit confusing, but I normally put in capital letters white joggers, and then underneath I'll put, say if they're Topshop, white Topshop joggers, Topshop white joggers, because it really matters the way that people type it in the search bar. Like, you may think, oh, it should just come up, but Depop is very particular with things. So yes, just make sure you add in the full potential in the description bar. Obviously, as I said, add the sizing, add the price in the description, say how much you bought it for and how much you're selling it now. Say you're open to offers, because obviously they can make you offers and you can decline it, or you can just negotiate with them, and that's the point I'm coming on to. But yeah, the main things that I'll put in the description is whether you've worn it or not, and whether it's like brand new with tags. If it's not, don't worry, people still buy old things like secondhand stuff, because obviously that's what it's for. Put the price in, like I said, and I would also put a couple of things what you could wear it with, because also people would like to know like what sort of things you would wear it with, and therefore they can envision it in their head. Be truthful in your description. If it's got a mark, say so. There'll be someone willing to buy it. So for example, I had sold my really dirty, they weren't dirty, they weren't only just dirty, they were creased, they literally were throwaway. And I remember I said to my dad, do you know what, I'm going to try sell them. He was like, no, like, it's not going to sell. I sold them for about £35 to a girl in America. Now, because they were really rare, I don't know if, no, you're not going to know, because how would you know? The Air Force with the stars on them. I'll try and add a picture now. It doesn't matter anymore, I don't have them, but I just thought I'd mention that people are willing to buy anything. So another thing I've put is hashtag everything. So it only limits you to about, I'd say maybe 10 hashtags. So most important first, so say we're going with the white joggers again, I would hashtag white joggers, hashtag Topshop joggers, hashtag joggers. Like, so you're broadening the audience who come towards your post. So if they're not looking for particularly white joggers, they will still come on your post. Another thing which I would say is really good is when you're finished listing the item, type in your item in the search bar in Depop as if you were to buy that item. So let's say we're searching for joggers, Topshop white joggers, type in. And you will see a load of other people listing their item as well. And what I usually do is go on one of their items and see how much they have listed it for, because you can then relate to their item. So you're not listing it too high or too low, because then people will either take advantage of you or not even look at your post. When someone asks to buy, don't go for the first price. If it's popular, people will ask. So I mean, in like, try and do business with the customer. So negotiate with them higher and state reasons why. So you could say postage is more expensive, or other people are selling for this price. You could also say that they are brand new with tags, say if they are, or you could say that I've worn them twice. Obviously, put how many times you have actually worn them. So after the seller has bought the item, obviously you will need to wrap it up and then take it to the post office, where you will pay a little bit to post it off to them. They usually pay for this, so make sure you include it in the price. So if you're not sure also how to wrap it up, say it's a t-shirt, fold it up normally, and I usually buy brown paper from the post office, which you can just put it in, fold it up nicely, sellotape it, write the address of the person on the front. So again, I'll try and put a photo here of what I mean. At the post office, when you have paid, they will give you a proof of postage, which I think you need to keep. Well, I personally keep it until the buyer asks you that they want the proof of postage. Sometimes they don't, so it don't really matter. And lastly, when you're selling, I think it's really important when the buyer has got their item that you ask them to leave a review, because I think people look at these reviews like when they're buying from your page. This is dipping slightly into the buying part, but I did just want to mention that reviews are very important on both sides. I think the more sales you've done and the more reviews that you are getting, the more that you have chances to increase your sales, because people are more willing to buy from you because you're not a scammer. Do you know what I mean? Okay, so they are all my selling techniques that I can give. If you do want to message me, then feel free on Instagram or even on YouTube. Just drop a comment down below. I will try and reply to your query if you need a bit of help with that, because I am usually quite a good advisor. Okay, so the first tip to buy, I would say don't just go with the first thing that comes up. Have a scroll and see what different prices and sizing there are. So when you're typing something in, make sure you're not just clicking on the first one and being like, yep, I'm gonna buy that. So have a little scroll through, because sometimes the best items will be at the bottom or in the middle, and just make sure you're having a look at the different prices and the sizing. Make sure you broaden your searches in the search bar to make sure that more items come up and therefore more of a chance to buy something. Also ask the seller what their size is. I know, not to be rude, but just say like, what size are you, just because I don't know whether I'm going to fit in this or whether it's stretchy enough, and they will obviously give you as much information as they can. Make sure to look in the description and check for marks, because obviously if you get the item and you're not happy with it, most people say no refunds, which is obviously on my page as well, just because I think you have to pay for postage there, and then if they refund it, you've got the item and you probably have to pay for their postage as well to refund it to you. So I just personally say no refunds, just because that's that. And I personally, if I get something that I don't like, I'll resell it. So one thing with buying items on Depop, I always message the seller, because you never know if they're instant buyers on, and this means when you can literally click the buy button on Depop. Now I usually don't like to do this because sometimes, as I said, you can negotiate the price and drop it down a little bit. So sometimes they may not even be aware that you bought the item in the first place. So I message them saying, can you do this for this item? And I ask them questions like, would it fit me? Like, I'm a size da da da. And I say, like, sometimes people are putting their measurements in the description, which is also really helpful. I just said ask loads of questions to the seller, and if you're not sure about something, just ask. And you can ask around to different sellers as well, even if you don't want to buy their item. Okay, now this is a big point, and I wanted to bring it in quite early, but I'm just going to mention it now. So it says, be careful of scammers. So I actually got scammed on Depop before. They will want you to buy it immediately and won't change the price, so no negotiations. But as I'm saying, like, people sometimes will say that's the final price, that's fine. But you have to be aware of people who are like immediately asking to buy and saying that's the last item on the market, da da da. I said they will try and be extra nice, then block you when you sent the money. So that's what happened to me. If you can buy the item on PayPal, you should. It is protected. So therefore, if you do get scammed, you can just go to PayPal and open a dispute with them and just mention that your item has been stolen. So I've also put, if you don't know if something is your size, look at the model's profile sizing and ask her if it will fit around the size you're looking for, as I said earlier. So what I do is normally quite weird, but I just do it anyway. So say if you're on this girl's Depop and you want to buy a dress from her, I would look at her sizing on her other dresses and see what sizing she goes for with other clothing, and you can sort of relate them to what sizes you'd buy in that. Just because you're more likely to fit in that item that she is also the same size in, but not all the time. Obviously, everyone has different body shapes, but personally, I just like to ask them for their sizing measurements if they're comfortable with it, obviously, and I just look at their body shape and compare it to mine, not in a good way, but you know. And lastly, this goes back to the selling as well. Read the reviews and make sure they are good, because some people have bad reviews, but obviously balance them out. If there's more good reviews than bad, then obviously they're going to be a fine seller, but just make sure they are not a fake person who are just going on there to sell their items and scam you. Honestly, I have spoke for England in this video. I hope you have all enjoyed the long Depop talk and how to sell and buy items on there. I just think if you're younger and you don't have much experience with Depop, you will obviously get scammed if you're not careful, and I personally think this video will help a lot of people if you are looking to sell your whole wardrobe. So I also did this video because sustainable fashion is becoming really popular, and I think this is the way we should shop now. So I think secondhand clothing is the best. Obviously, make sure it's clean, and you can obviously wash it 10 times. If you did enjoy this video, then please remember to like it, give me a comment, and subscribe to my channel. I'd be really grateful. We are so close to 1K, what? But that is all I've got for now, so I'll see you in the next one. Bye guys.